Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video, we got a massive info drop about Season 3 and most importantly, the upcoming skills of Lailah and Lailah, the Celestial Twins. We're going to be going through that in today's video. They've basically given us like the first look reveal at all of the different skills. We won't have the multipliers, so we can't make like a fully educated decision yet. But this is going to give us a really good idea of how they will be used and how maybe important it will be for you to save up for them. Okay guys, without further ado, let's go.
Today, I'd like to share my favorite legend of the twin stars. It is said that 2,000 years ago, Jura intercepted 2 comets destined to fall to Earth, transforming them into the twin stars that now shine upon us. They are of one mind, perfectly in sync, as if they were a single person. They are seen as the radiance of the night sky, the guardians of peace. They are the Celestial Twins, Elijah and Lailah.
A perfect dance.
Twins created by Jura.
Okay, let's just go pause back here. So Celestial support, magic damage dealer, and now there's different ranges. The Lailah is going to have a range of 1, and the Lailah is going to have a range of 6. This is important because this will change their position on the battlefield.
Dance.
Twins created by Jura. Born as one, but acting independently on the battlefield while remaining spiritually connected. They not only share health and energy, but the strong bond between them also provides buffs to their allies.
Again, I think this is really important. They said they share health and energy. So energy would mean that, I guess, you would not, for example, cannot have independent ultimates. We saw their ultimate animation. They do some dance together and then they provide a haste boost to your allies. So they're going to cast ultimate at the same time with the full energy. But this also leads me to believe that you cannot devour. For example, you could not have one of them die and then other one not. For example, you would just take down both of their healths together down to until they both just die. Because their health pool is basically going to be shared. So like one cannot exist without the other. Even though they act independently, they're kind of connected. So that kind of, in my opinion, it seems like Harak will not be able to like devour one of them. And then the other one can still exist. Because even their ultimate animation has both of them casting together. So that is what I'm thinking.
Their second skill, Stellar Ties, creates a stellar bond between Elijah and Lailah. If they are positioned in a straight line, allies placed between them will also form a stellar bond with them. Allies within the stellar bond gain increased attack, though the boost diminishes.
Guys, this is a straight line. Did you see what was happening at the beginning? They were not linking. So for example, if it's a diagonal, like it has to actually be exactly a straight line. Well, technically everything is a straight line, but then no other hero could, I want to show the initial placement. No hero is going to be able to get the stellar bond in this positioning of Lailah and Elijah because there is no hero which can be placed along the straight line. It has to be exact because when you see them moving around, they're not getting the connection. But here, there are 2 tiles, right here, that tile, and then the tile where Muriel is. These are the tiles which can actually be considered in the straight line.
Though the boost diminishes slightly with each additional connected ally.
Okay, let's watch that again. So, allies within the stellar bond gain increased attack. So there's going to be an attack buff provided, I guess, from the passive version of Stellar Ties, which is the first non-ultimate skill, basically. That is going to be, I guess, the passive element of this skill, and it will only work for allies who are in a straight line between Lailah and Elijah. So, for example, like let's say you had Elijah and Lailah on the same row, then only heroes who are placed on that same row are going to get this effect. And, okay.
Allies within the stellar bond gain increased attack, though the boost diminishes slightly with each additional connected ally.
And that means that the more allies you have connected in the stellar or stellar ties, the lower the attack buff will be provided to those allies. But we don't know how high it was to begin with, how low it goes. But for example, if you wanted to maybe run them with your hyper carry Harok, maybe you would only want Harok being buffed up and not your other allies.
When actively casting the second skill, Lailah sends a green light along the stellar bond to Elijah, healing allies in its path. At the same time, Elijah sends a golden blessing back to Lailah, restoring energy to allies along the stellar bond.
And we saw this when we took the first overall glimpse at the skills of these two heroes, or one hero technically. So Elijah is going to send the yellow orb, Lailah is going to send the green orb. The green orb will heal allies which are connected by this stellar bond or stellar ties. This is the active cast. And then Lailah is going to give energy to the allies hit with the yellow orb, and they will cast at the same time. As you can see here, Lailah projects her orb at the same time Elijah is projecting his orb, and it will bounce through whoever is within the stellar ties. But look at the HP, look at their energy, it is exactly identical. So it does seem like they share the HP pool. Either they're both alive or they're both dead when the entire pool is depleted.
With the third skill, Cosmic Protection, Lailah summons a divine shockwave at Elijah's position and near another ally surrounded by enemies.
Okay, let's read that again. Lailah summons a divine shockwave at Elijah's position, okay, and near another ally surrounded by enemies. So this is skill number 2, the non-ultimate skill number 2, which is Cosmic Protection. Okay. So some damage dealt, and near another ally surrounded by enemies. So both one ally of yours as well as Elijah.
By enemies. The shockwave knocks back enemies around Elijah.
The shockwave will knock back enemies around Lailah. I can't really see it going off here.
Deals damage to enemies within the area and applies a blinding effect for a short period of time.
So deals damage, knocks back from this divine shockwave, and applies blinding effect, which means the heroes affected by this blind will not be able to perform normal attacks. So this is all from Lailah's portion of the Cosmic Protection. And this is going to be triggered onto nearby enemies of Lailah as well as one of your allies.
In addition, Elijah grants a shield to Lailah and the weakest ally.
Okay, so Lailah is the supportive role in this skill. He's going to grant a shield to Lailah as well as one of your weakest allies. So it would be Merrily here as well as Lailah. Whereas Lailah's defensive version, Divine Shockwave onto Lailah, as well as your ally who is surrounded by the most enemies, and applying that blinding and knockdown.
Lasting for a set duration of time.
Or knockback.
While the shield is active, Lailah becomes immune to control effects.
Okay, that an interesting effect of the shield. Not only will it take damage, but it will also make Lailah immune to control effects.
Their ultimate skill, Starlight Waltz, is born from their tireless and harmonious duet. When actively casting the ultimate, the two dance together, granting all allies increased haste for some time. During this skill duration, all allies within the stellar bond gain immunity to control effects.
Okay, this is, watch how quickly they recharge their energy after casting their ultimate, and the haste buff is remaining. Like, they're about to recharge their energy fully, and they're gonna be able to recast their ultimate, and the haste buff is still on all of their allies. So it says for some time, but I think once they get that first cast off, basically they're gonna cycle their ultimate casting, creating almost a permanent haste buff for your allies, which is definitely strong. And for the allies who are within the stellar bond or stellar ties, they're going to gain immunity to the control effects, which is, again, another added bonus. That is mainly going to be good for PvP in Dream Realm. I mean, Orson is kind of the only boss. Well, actually, Crystal Beetle and Orson both have knock up and knock back. But generally for boss battles, it isn't as important. But for PvP, of course, this is really strong. But keep in mind, in PvP, probably you'll only be able to have 2 allies at a time. within the stellar bond because they have to be in an actual straight line. And so if and like based on the map configurations, it's kind of like the maximum you can fit is going to be 2 allies, depending on the placement.
After unlocking the exclusive skill, Starbound Harmony, if all allies within the stellar bond, except Elijah and Lailah, are from the same faction at the start of the battle, they gain the Harmony effect. This effect boosts the vitality and energy recovery speed of allies within the stellar bond.
What I'm thinking is Elijah, Lailah, Fresto, Harak. Main Fresto, Harak, in the stellar bond, Elijah, Lailah, buffing them up, giving them both attack, giving them boosted energy recovery, giving them, what else did you give them? Like the energy each time that orb bounces back and forth. Okay. They're from the same faction. They're both Hypogeans. And so they're going to gain even boosted energy recovery speed. So then Harak is going to be able to eat or devour and easily kill, or basically keep recycling his ultimate cast. So like that's one idea. And also then the ultimate cast of Lailah and Elijah is going to allow them to grant haste for your allies as well. That's something I have. But like there's going to be a lot of plans with this. Basically you're going to want to have either one hero, then it is done. It is definitely going to be one hero of the same faction, or 2 heroes of the same faction to gain the maximum value of this, which is energy recovery speed and like some health recovery. Yeah, okay.
Once all connected allies have used their ultimate, the stellar bond triggers a surge, refunding a percentage of energy to those allies.
Okay.
Surge. Allies have used their ultimate. The stellar bond triggers a surge, refunding a percentage of energy to those allies.
So this is going to be the exclusive equipment, like the Mythic Plus ability of Lailah and Lailah. And it is going to be that after casting their ultimate, when all allies within the stellar bond have casted their ultimate, then some of that energy for the ultimate cast is going to be refunded to those allies. Right? That is what they're saying here?
That boosts the vitality and energy recovery speed of allies within the stellar bond. Once all connected allies have used their ultimate, the stellar bond triggers a surge, refunding a percentage of energy to those allies.
Refunding a percentage of energy to those allies. So this is like kind of like a bonus effect, right? This is not related to the increased energy recovery speed.
Once all connected allies have used their ultimate, the stellar bond
so
triggers
Lucius is going to be the final one, and there you get that some percentage refund of energy.
Refunding a percentage of energy to those allies.
But not to Lailah and Lailah, right?
The stellar bond triggers a surge, refunding a percentage
just to the allies,
of
the Lucius and the Merrily, because Lailah and Lailah did not gain any energy there. But like, look at this. Permanent haste buff uptime, they recast and all the allies had haste buff.
To allies while also offering protection and controllability with balance. Providing buffs to allies while also offering protection and control abilities. In other words,
okay,
you won't let you down in most scenarios, demonstrating incredible versatility. Just like the line from the stage play, Twin Stars goes, in the sky, on the earth, in the night, in the day, the twin stars always shine. Elijah and Lailah have such an enviable tacit understanding. Chippy, we're both hamsters and we look alike. So why don't we have the same chemistry? Chippy guesses our most tacit moment would be 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the new season!
Okay, guys. So, what can we say about the Celestial Twins, Elijah and Lailah so far? I mean, okay, there's definitely some interesting things have been uncovered here. We still need to see their multipliers to know for sure exactly how great these heroes are going to be. But there's just one thing I'm thinking of. So, in the Harak-oriented teams, what I'm worried about is what happens. Like, I mean, one of your Elijah or Lailah will probably be close to the front. And if Harak ends up devouring one of them, Do they both insta-kill? Like, I mean, I don't think one can exist without the other. Would it just be possible that he skips that hero and doesn't actually try to devour it? Because like they're both, I don't know what is going to happen with that mechanic. That is going to be important. The other thing is that if you have them in a straight line, then what that basically means, and you put your key carry allies within that line for the stellar bond, then you're not going to be able to give any like resonating spell, any key buff artifact to the rearmost, because the rearmost is going to be Lailah. Because or Lailah, whichever one you choose, but Lailah is the longer range one, and so because you're gonna have the two within, like sandwiched between the two, Lailah and Lailah, and so they will not be actually in the rearmost position. That is another kind of issue. And so, and really the issue I'm seeing is that the positioning seems like it's going to end up being a little bit awkward in order to get all of the value from the Stellar Bond. However, the haste buff, that is very interesting. Haste buff for all allies, and it seems like they just begin cycling their ultimate cast after they cast the first time, because like the haste buff is long enough to have a long enough duration that they'll recharge their energy and cast again. And they have like protection, they have healing from the green orb, which is casted by Lailah. They have the shielding from Lailah, the cosmic protection skill. Apart from that, they have like those would be the main sources, and then they share like this HP pool. But they don't have other survival mechanisms apart from this. They have the knockdown and they have the blind. But I'm wondering if it will be possible to kill them really quickly at the beginning of the match, because they're not like, for example, a hero that has any like invincibility, any respawning, resummoning, any untargetability, any mechanics like that. So like for PvP, I'm a little bit worried, honestly, about their capabilities. And for the Dream Realm, that is the thing where we're most like looking forward to see is, are they actually going to be great there? And like energy recovery, I don't know how valuable energy recovery is. Also, the fact is, it's not energy recovery for your whole team. It's only for the allies within this Stellar Bond. I thought it was going to be for your whole team, and then that's a different story, but this is only for the Stellar Bond allies. But it is also going to provide an attack buff for those allies, and they are going to provide a haste buff. And I think it will just kind of the deciding factor will be how big of a haste buff is it actually. And that is going to matter a lot. Now, the other thing is, like, for example, if you have Freyaster and his illusion, you can make both of those the two allies, like in your Stellar Bond. For example, you could, like, maybe if you don't have Harak and you're going for just a Freyaster team, you could have the two Freyasters in the Stellar Bond with the Lailah and Lailah. They are your key damage dealers. And then you would have Shakira and other things just to buff up your haste further, buff up your attack further, Mikola. But I think that it's going to get a little bit complicated. There are going to be so many heroes on the battlefield for, like, for example, Dream Realm. If you're running Fresto with him and his illusion, these two heroes, you're running Shakir, Mikola, all of these frontline melee heroes, is going to be kind of crowded. I'm not sure how things are going to play out. But really what I think is actually the key skill of these heroes is going to be their haste buff. For Dream Realm, because I think the energy recovery is not so game changing. Like, energy recovery is fine and it's nice, but like when you even talk about Harak cycling his ultimate, once he gets the 2 kills, he's basically cycling on his own. He doesn't need any other form of energy recovery, or just the resonating spell is enough. But we won't have that next season, but you kind of know what I mean, right? Like, the energy recovery is not going to be the game changing thing for him. So overall, definitely interesting heroes. We're going to have to see their multipliers, and then we're going to have to do testing, of course. Please let me know what you think about Lailah and Lailah in the comment section. Maybe I missed something, and you can definitely point it out in the comment section. Or maybe this is something more you have to add about all of these different things that we mentioned. But overall, they are looking good. They're looking like a good support, but I think it's going to be difficult to predict the actual usefulness in Dream Realm as well as PvP until we get testing, because yeah, and it does seem like they're going to have somewhat of a place for Dream Realm, but I just don't know. Could it be that you would even replace Mikola? Because oh no, because I hope Mikola doesn't get replaced, because she was a really important hero for a long time. But the problem with Mikola is, like, she provides attack buff and haste buff, right? These heroes are going to provide haste buff and attack buff to the allies who are within the Stellar Bond, and also energy. So it's kind of going to be a question of which one is actually better, or if you can't run both of them, because it's going to be difficult to run so many supports like Elijah, Lailah, Smokey, Mikola. Your team is then all full of these supports. You might have to see which one is actually more optimal. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.